Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. Today we are in the garden and today's video is all about gardening. Finally, the weather is turning great and we are really getting started in the garden, getting a bunch of things into the ground. So I'm going to kind of show y'all real quick what our garden looks like, talk a little bit about it. We're going to do some planting this morning and then I'll take y'all inside in just a little bit and kind of talk about all the garden plans for the 2024 season. So we have a bunch of big plans. There's a lot to get into, so I'm just going to jump into showing y'all everything. So for those who have not seen our garden, this is it in the current state. We have 5 raised garden beds. They're all 4 by 8 feet. So we've got them all kind of lined up around here. Last week we actually had a big load of dirt delivered to our house because these 2 beds were completely empty. So we got those filled up. We have not finished the rest of the beds. My whole family has been fighting the flu for the past few weeks, and so it's kind of been a long and slow process getting these filled. But we did get this one filled over here, and I got a few poppy seeds planted in there, which we are going to do more of today. This bed we just finished filling yesterday. There's my son. But we still have these other ones to fill. I don't know that this one over here I'm going to fill any. Maybe just if we have a little bit of compost left, we'll top it off. But otherwise, I think we'll be fine in this one. That one didn't drop too much. So like I said, I'll take y'all back inside in just a little bit and kind of talk about all the methods of gardening, what I'm planning on doing, what I'm planning on growing this year. But I am doing the square foot garden method, to where like every square foot you put a certain amount of plants in there. I think as a pretty beginner gardener that's really going to help me. But because these beds are so large, it's pretty hard to just kind of know where each square foot is. What I'm going to do is just tape some twine going down, measure out each square foot. That way when I'm planting the stuff, I know exactly where I'm going with it. So before we get anything planted, that's my first step, is going to be just putting on that twine across these 2 garden beds here, and then hopefully get some stuff in the ground.
If you had a glimpse inside my head, you'd know I'm different than you. What works for you might not work for me, 'cause that's our solid ground. I'll build a life that helps me thrive. I hope you're doing the same. Through my eyes I see different than you. Together we open new worlds. Different eyes lead to new heights, new views. Together we color the world. Discovering self to know how to grow. Genius takes many shades.
So I just finished with this garden box, putting the string on there. So each square is approximately 12 inches by 12 inches, giving us a good kind of grid for our square foot gardening. So like I was explaining, and I'll kind of talk about it a little bit later too. So each of these squares, there's approximately a certain amount of plants that can go in each square. So we will talk about that once we go inside and talk about all the plans. I'm about to jump over and do the same thing to this box. I just held all these on by tape. They're not supposed to last long. I'm not even going to have it on there the whole gardening season. It's just a way for me to visually see what I need to plant where. Actually, in this first garden bed right here, we're going to be adding a trellis system to that side anyways. So this string won't last too long. It's really just a tool to help me right now. So I'm going to jump over and get this other one done real quick. Alright, so I've got the second bed with the grid kind of placed there. That was the first one. So what we are planting today are some poppy flowers and some chives. These are the different poppies I've got. I've got these beautiful mother of pearl poppies, these American Legion, some Iceland poppies, and then some California poppies. And then I just have my chive seeds also that will go in the other bed in just a minute. And so if you look, this is the bed that I'm in currently. This is my flower bed. I have everything kind of placed, how many needs to go in each one, when I'm planting each specific square. So last week, 6 weeks before my last average frost, I planted this poppies, and this poppies. Those were 6 weeks before. Now it's about 5 weeks before, so I'm going to plant right here, and right here. So these three are the beds that I'm planting in for today's poppies. Once I come over to the chives, so see, this is the bed we're in now. This is that first front bed. I've got some chives here that's going to go in these two spots. So I'm going to let my son help me here. He's super excited about planting all the flowers, so he's gonna help me in this bed, just kind of sprinkle them through. I have where we're doing about 3 spots for each of these poppies, so that's what we're gonna do now.
Oh my child, I know you're hurt and you can't let go. It's not your fault and you don't deserve all the bad and the hurt. I know you tried so hard. I know you've done your part. It's not fair. Did your time. How much longer will you suffer in this life? But don't give up. Just hold on tight. It'll be alright. All your life you've tried to be a good man inside. Did everything that you thought you should.
So we've got the poppies and then the chives for this week planted. That's pretty much it until next weekend. We'll do a few more poppies. Here in a few weeks I will be doing like my broccoli, and then there's a few more things. So like I said, here in a few weeks, whenever I plant like a lot of the stuff like the broccoli, there's some more random flowers that need to get planted, I'll take y'all along then as well. Real quick, I'm gonna take y'all up here and show y'all the peach tree that we planted last year. It's starting to bloom and it's looking really great. So here is our peach tree. It's little, but it's growing. And we've got some really pretty blooms all over the tree, which I'm taking as a really good sign. So that is that for right now. So we're gonna go in and I'll kind of talk to y'all further about all the garden plans. Okay, so we're inside now. I've got all my seeds that I'm planning on planting this year. I've got all my plans for the garden this year. So I was just gonna quickly kind of talk y'all through it, kind of let y'all know what the plans are for the 2024 gardening season. I'm not a master gardener, and so don't really follow along if you're trying to like really learn something, but just kind of follow along if you're just kind of wanting to see my process. If you're starting out a garden too, I may have some helpful tips. who knows? So, like I said, I'm not a master gardener. Last year was really my first time like starting out gardening, and even then it was kind of a flop. So I had this big plan. I planned everything out. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, when I needed to do everything. Well, that's when we ended up getting pregnant with our third child, and I was super sick, and so the gardening just didn't really happen. I was really sick, didn't want to even leave my bed for like the first few months, and so that was that prime time that I really needed to get like things in the ground. So things got planted in the wrong season. I didn't really, like, I had a plan to start with, but once it came down to it, like once I felt good enough, I just pretty much threw everything in the beds, and it didn't work out. Even going through the gardening season, it was hot. I wasn't feeling like going outside. And so it had its moments. We got a few things out of the garden. Turns out I was pretty good at growing flowers, a lot more than vegetables, which vegetables are still my priority, but you know, flowers is something that I'm really going to jump into this year. Kind of try my hand at that again and see how that is. But anyways, so this year I'm feeling pretty good. Like I said, we were fighting the flu, and so that kind of almost put us behind, but I think we're in pretty good shape. So I'm going to run through real quick and show you what I plan on planting, and then kind of show you how I'm doing the whole setup. Okay, so I'll also kind of try to tell you where I got the seeds. Most of our seeds I either ordered from So True Seeds or Botanical Interest, and so I'll just kind of tell you as we go along. I do have these in the order that I will be planting, and so I'll just kind of show you that. So like I said, I have all my poppies that we talked about, then the chives that we also planted this morning. Let's see. So next will be carrots. I'll be planting in a few weeks, as well as broccoli. So this year I'm not starting any of my seeds inside. I feel like I have so much to learn this year. I may try to start my own seeds next year, but pretty much everything I'm doing, I'm just direct sowing. If there is things like I know like broccoli, tomatoes, peppers, stuff like that, that really needs to be started before you move them to the garden, I'm just gonna buy them at, our local plant nursery and do it that way. But other than those few things that I'll have to buy like already started, I did get my seeds for. So here in a few weeks we'll do carrots. I'm not sure what kind of carrots these are. I got the seeds last year at our plant nursery. I guess just normal orange carrots, but I've got some of those left. And then I also have these cosmic purples, and also these little finger carrots. Both of these came from Botanical Interest, so that is what I'm going to do for my carrots. I've got 3 different kinds there. Also in a few weeks when I plant the carrots and broccoli, I've got some of these purple coneflowers from Botanical Interest, as well as these black-eyed Susan flowers that will go out there. And those two I'm just going to kind of mix up. Like they won't go in my flower garden bed. They'll just kind of go out through the rest of the stuff. Lettuce, I've got just this lettuce blend I'm gonna plant. That will be for our bunnies, for the chickens. We're not big lettuce eaters, but it's pretty easy to grow, and so I'm gonna grow that for our animals. And then I've just got this purple butter crunch lettuce here. Again, both of those are from Botanical Interest. For my flowers, something that, I said earlier I did really well with last year were like zinnias, marigolds, cosmos, and so I've got a few of those to plant. Well, more than a few. I've got quite a bit. For my zinnias from Botanical Interest, I'm doing these really pretty kind of peppermint stick zinnias. And then I've got these Senora zinnias. This I just got from like Tractor Supply. It is an Envy, maybe, Zinnia. Just thought the color was really pretty there. And then just 2 from Lowe's, these kind of mixed color zinnias. So that's for those. I've also got a mix of dahlias. There's no picture on it, it's just a mixed blend there. Cosmos, I've got, again, 2 different kinds from Lowe's. The packaging's in kind of rough shape because it was from last year, but I've just got a mix of colors there. Also for my Cosmos, I've got this Rubenza, which is a really pretty red color. And lastly, the Seashell Blend Cosmos that kind of look like seashells. And those 2 were from Botanical Interest as well. I've got just some calendula and then some marigolds that I did last year. They were really successful. All this from Lowe's. I'm going to try this amaranth, if that's how you say it. Just kind of a vining plant. I thought that would be really pretty on the back side of our trellis. Got some lemon balm. And then for green beans, I'm only doing pole beans. Like I said, we're gonna have this big trellis, so this is where we're doing our beans. I've got just this normal Blue Lake stringless. Got that from Tractor Supply. And then I also got from So True Seeds these rattlesnake green beans. So they are green with just some purple streaks in them. The Orient Wonder yard long beans from Botanical Interest. Looks like that. So they are, like in the name, a yard long. So those will be fun. And then these purple green beans as well. Let's see if it'll focus. There we go. I also am doing some butternut squash, some loofah, which I'm excited about to try this. Let's see. It's not really loading. There we are. And then I've just got some yellow squash, green zucchini. I'm doing a few different pumpkins. I don't have all my pumpkin seeds currently. I've got these Jack Be Little pumpkins. So the real small ones, just decorative. These small sugar pumpkins that I'll be doing for like recipes, pumpkin pie, stuff like that. And then Dutch fork pumpkin. There's no picture on here, but they are really large. The only pumpkins that I wasn't able to order just because they were out of stock whenever I ended up placing my order were just like the normal Halloween pumpkins that you would carve. I wanted to do some of those for our animals, like our pigs. I thought that would be really good nutrients for them. And there was one more type of seed that I wasn't able to order that I can't remember right now. If I think of it, I'll let y'all know. But that is all my seeds for this year. So I'm gonna quickly show y'all kind of our garden plans, how I'll have everything set up. And yeah, I'm excited to get started. So let me kind of switch all over to show y'all this. Sorry if this is a little shaky, but this is gonna be the best way to show y'all. So this is the flower bed that we kind of talked about. So right here we have like north, south, east, west, kind of showing you the layout of the beds. So I am going to be succession sowing my plants. So like sowing a little bit one week and then a little bit the next week, little bit the next week, just to kind of like make them last a little bit longer, and that way it's not just a big harvest at once. So that's kind of what I've done here. Up in this corner we've got cosmos, dahlias, zinnias, and then our poppies down here. And then like I showed y'all earlier with the poppies, like it's like 6 weeks before the last frost, 5 weeks before, 4 weeks before, and then jumping up to our other plants, we have like 1 week after the last frost, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, you know, things like that. So this is my flower bed. When I planned it, I didn't make any room for marigolds or the calendulas because honestly I forgot about them. So I'm just probably not going to do as many like dahlias and then put some like throughout here. I tried to do it also by height, what's going to be tallest in the back, besides the poppies. The poppies, they are going to bloom earlier, get done earlier in the season. And so I wanted this spot open. That way I can plant more things here once all the poppies die back. And it won't be, you know, covered by the other flowers. Because this is the direction of the sun kind of coming up this way. So I put the taller in the back. So this is the flowers. Here is kind of the whole garden, if you look at it, kind of from the front here. So where we were working on those two beds earlier, right here, this front one is going to be tomatoes. In this bed, I'm going to have like my squash, butternut squash. Let's see, I think that's it for this one. The one back here, I'm doing a few pumpkins. We got broccoli, lettuce. This bed gets the least amount of sunlight. It still gets a pretty decent amount, but it does get the least. So I try to put my cooler crops like broccoli and lettuce back in that one. Again, we've got flowers, and then this one up front that we worked on earlier, you know, we planted our chives up here, but we'll also have like lemon balm, carrots, peppers, and then right here, we are going to be doing 2 cattle panel trellises going across there. So on the trellis, we're going to do loofah, a few flowers, all of our green beans. So pretty much this whole thing's going to be green beans. From the other side that's not in the garden box, I'm going to do a few more flowers just to make it pretty because that is the direction of the road. And then back in this little corner here that is not in a garden bed, I'm going to try to do some pumpkins just in the ground. We'll see once it gets time to plant those exactly how I'm going to do them. But this is the current layout plans of the garden. So like I said, the sun kind of comes up from this way and then goes right across the garden. So pretty much everything's going to get pretty good, accurate sunlight for what they need. Nothing's going to block anything that needs more sun than something else. So like I said, I will be succession sowing. So I'll do a little bit of like green beans at a time, come back, do a little bit more. This whole bed, like I said, is for tomatoes, and so I've got them spaced out. Really, I can do them closer than this. I just didn't want to be completely overwhelmed with tomatoes, and I might do a few flowers kind of throughout there. Let's see. But you can kind of see how I'm doing that square foot gardening. Like for the squash, you need 2 square feet per plant. So I've kind of got 2 square feet, 2 square feet kind of going through like that. Let me think. Lettuce, I don't remember what I did. You have like 8 or 4 for square foot, something like that. Lettuce can be pretty close, so I've got those in there. Broccoli, they need quite a bit of space. Carrots I didn't draw because I'm just going to pretty much sow a ton of carrots throughout there. And then peppers. So yeah, this is the current plan of the garden. So now that y'all have seen kind of the plan drawn to scale, maybe y'all kind of know what I'm talking about once I start actually like really getting into the gardening. Like I said, every weekend I pretty much have something different that I need to plant. This weekend was chives. Let's see here, I've got it right in front of me. Yeah, so it's chives and poppies, sorry. Next weekend, I've got poppies. I probably won't take you along. I'm just scattering a few more poppy seeds throughout the garden. March 16th, I've got broccoli, carrots, those coneflowers, black-eyed Susan. The next weekend, I'll be doing lettuce. Our last average frost date here is April 2nd, so kind of an earlier last average frost. So I've just based everything off of that, like whether, like I know like the poppies and the chives needed like 4 to 6 weeks before your last average frost. So I've just tried to plan it accordingly to that. I know personally for me, I'm gonna plant most of my stuff about a week and a half after our last average frost. So again, that date was April 2nd. April 13th is when I have plans to do like my big plant with like tomatoes, peppers, a bunch of the flowers. So that will be a really big plant date that I will definitely take y'all along with. But I hope this wasn't too rambly. I just wanted to show or share with y'all all of my garden plans, show y'all what we're planning on doing. Here in the next few weeks, we will need to build that cattle panel trellis. I don't want to get too much planted in that garden bed and then have to disturb the roots by putting that in. So that will be coming up pretty soon. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm hoping for another year of learning from the garden. Like I said, last year wasn't the most successful, but this year I'm hoping for some good things to come out of it. I've got plans. I've just got to stick to it and hopefully learn how to grow everything. So yeah, thank y'all for watching today's video, and I will bring y'all along again next time. Bye.